Amigos, welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of, you guessed it, the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. Now let's get going.
T-minus
10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Come on, you
five,
know the rest,
4,
folks.
3,
2.
2, 1.
Here we go.
0. Ignition.
It's liftoff time.
Liftoff.
Woohoo!
Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
Get ready.
Yes,
Hold
yes,
on to your hat.
yes.
Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your
And
hats.
get ready for the ride of your life.
The
Life
show. It's show with no name time.
on Vaughn Radio.
It's a show. Come on.
All right, amigos, here we go.
Let's go.
Go, 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 go. Welcome, welcome, show with no namers. Welcome to another edition of the show with no name, which would not be possible without you guys. You guys are a huge part of the show, your interaction, your energy, your contributions. In fact, today we're going to be hearing from Christina Chicago, Chris Valrol, Nuria, Anix, Mario, Turani, Elena, and Marisol. In our question of the week, which was also provided by a fellow student, Chris Valrol, today we're going to be talking about your least favorite chore. That's right, we all have them. Some chores relax me, I've got to say. If you consider cooking a chore, because it's something you have to do, you want to eat healthy, right? You can't eat out every night because of the budget, el presupuesto, and because I don't know if that's the healthiest option. But I love that chore. I don't consider it a chore. But again, as I said earlier in the week, that's how we should apply it to our English. Don't consider it a chore. Consider it a hobby, something that gets you pumped up. Algo que te motiva, or something that relaxes you, whatever, but something that brings you lots of positivity, lots of awesome feelings. All right, amigos, let's kick off with today's Say What soundbite. Yes!
Say what? What?
All right. The Say What soundbite here on the show with no name. This is a listening exercise. It's an exercise in taking dictation. And also an exercise in expressing yourself, summing things up. Summing up things that you hear. That was something we had to do all the time in school when I was a kid. The teacher would say, okay, read that paragraph and sum it up in a sentence. What's the main idea? And we also had to do book reports as well, where you'd have to read a book and then sum it up in a couple paragraphs. And normally you'd have to present that information to the rest of the class. Well, no different from what we're doing in our weekly speaking exercise as well. Right? You have to sum things up there. Your least favorite chore this week. Let me give you next week's as well, so this way you've got the weekend to think about it. Tell us about your first job. This is another one from Chris Valrol. Thank you so much for the suggestions, Chris. Tell us about your first job. What was it? And, well, obviously, tell us a little bit about it. Mine was at Vesuvio's Pizza. Yeah, a pizzeria, a pizza parlor. Oh, I ate my weight in pizza. Oh, I got paid too. I had a salary or a wage. Another way to say salary is wage. But also it was convenient. It was near my house. It was near my high school. And I was able to have a little kicking around cash, as we call it. Dinero para lo que sea. Because at that point, obviously, your parents are paying the bills. Las facturas, you know, the bills, as we say. But also, I learned how to save money. I saved up for my first car working at Vesuvio's. I didn't save any calories, though. Oh, man. So, next week's question of the week, an opportunity to practice your speaking here with us on the show. And for me to give you some feedback on your speaking, I urge you all to participate. You can send it to my email address. It's aalonso@grupovon.com. Again, it's aalonso@grupovon.com. And you can send me, keep it at around a minute, a little bit over, a little bit under. That's fine. And you can send it to that email address and practice speaking every week about a different topic. All right, well, my amigos, I'm going to give you your Say What soundbite right now for the first time. So if everybody's ready, here goes.
Don't be silly, Arnold. I've never done this before. Look, tomorrow's Pearl's day off. I'll replace the food and that cake. Good night, guys. I'm going to clean up the kitchen.
Alberto, estoy leyendo un cómic y me estoy dando cuenta de que todas las onomatopeyas que salen son verbos en inglés.
Of course, man. We love making it easy.
Por ejemplo, aquí pone chomp y está un animal masticando.
Sure, to chomp.
Es mascar, ¿no?
Sí, mascar. Y lo haces con tus piños. You're chompers.
Ah, chompers es los piños grandotes, ¿no? Vale, y to click, por ejemplo.
To click. Well, to click is what you do on a computer. You click. Pinchar.
Perfecto, pinchas con el ratón. Claro, tiene sentido. To gulp.
Well, before I was gulping my soda. Gulp, 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 gulp.
Claro, estás tragando como un pato.
Eso es, no es lo mismo que sip.
Bien. To thump.
Thump. Don't thump your fist on the table. No des un pum, pum en la mesa.
De hecho, el conejito de Bambi se llamaba Thumper.
Eso es, todo tiene sentido en inglés.
Claro que sí, por eso hemos hecho el tercer libro de This Book is the Milk, que se llama This Book is the Shit. Este libro es la leche. Por Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender. Y lo sabes.
And you know it. That's right, folks. You can pick up This Book is the Shit wherever fine books are sold. You can also pick it up at VonTienda.com. Also, we've got some special deals going on. I want to let you guys know, you know me, I don't want to spam you. I don't want to sit here and tell you, oh, how great everything is. But seriously, if you've ever thought about doing a master's program with Vaughn, now's the time. You'll get a 600 euro discount. 600 euros. That is a perfect amount of money to go to London for 2 days. Well, with low cost and not staying at a fancy hotel. So with a low cost airline and not staying at a fancy hotel, for 600 euros, you can go to London or another English speaking city and put it into practice. So that is the Vaughn Master. And you've got until the end of November, but don't put it off. No lo aplaces until the 30th of November, 2025. We've also got a deal. Now, these next two deals are only until the 9th of November. So here, don't think about it too much. You've got special deals with the Grupos Disney English, also with the Grupos Junior, And also the clases particulares de inglés para niños de 4 a 17 años. So those are until the 9th of November. Unlike the Masters one, with which you have basically all of November. And we also have another deal until the 16th of November, where you can get a 30% discount on the cursos intensivos de inglés por semanas. So many great deals. And if I were you guys, I would definitely make the most of them, especially if you were thinking about signing up for one of our courses. Well, the best time to do that is when you got a special deal. Why not? You know, $600 that you saved. And that is our Vaughn Masters. All right, amigos, let's move on to today's pop quiz. Get up, get up, get up. Pop quiz. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. All right, welcome to our pop quiz. Now, today's is not from one of my books, but that's okay. As I said, I recommend all the books at Vaughn, at Grupo Vaughn, not just my books. I mean, yeah, my books, of course, they're mine, so I put my personality into them. But I think I can say that with all of the books, whether it's Jimena Holiday's book, one of her books, which we saw yesterday, or the one we're looking at today called Listen Up. And Listen Up is one that was written by Michael Slevin Utley. Now, you're thinking, I don't really know him, do I? Well, maybe. If you've done our master's program, he is one of the teachers on the master's program. And while all our teachers are amazing, and I'll vouch for all of them, poner la mano en el fuego, to vouch for, I'll vouch for each and every one of them. I know, and I know the Fitz filter, that him and his team only choose the cream of the crop, okay? The best of the best to do the masters. Why? Because it's hardcore. For a student and for a teacher, there's a lot of information, a lot of hours. But again, what does it take to master something? Llegar a dominar algo. Well, tons of hours, tons of practice. So you'll find the greatest teachers. And, well, Michael has decided to turn some of his listening exercises, 88 paragraphs of listening exercises, into a book. And it's called Listen Up. It's got over 2 hours of audio. And of course, you've got the paragraphs in black and white. Plus, you've got some exercises to make sure that you're getting all the stuff that Michael is throwing at you. So it's called Listen Up. Let me share the link with you here in the group chat. I see we've got a lot of people joining us. We'll check in with you folks in just a minute. Also, I'm going to share the promo, the links, the ones I just told you about, the Vaughn Disney English. I mean, these are great gift ideas, just saying. That if you know anybody who's got kids, well, there are special deals going on right now for lots of the kids programs, as I said, from 4 to 17. So younger kids, my daughter's age, and teenagers. We've got something for everybody. All right. So as always, I want you to listen carefully, or as the title implies, listen up in today's pop quiz, because as always, I'll have a couple questions for you based on what we've heard. Here it is. Listen up.
Hurricane. And now the vocabulary. Stormy.
Tormentoso,
Hurricane.
huracán,
Windy.
ventoso,
To book a holiday or a vacation.
reservar vacaciones,
Weatherman.
hombre del tiempo,
Storm.
tormenta,
Shelter.
refugio,
To return to normal.
volver a la normalidad.
It's going to be very stormy tomorrow. A hurricane is coming. It's going to be windy all day, and it's probably going to rain cats and dogs. There won't be a hurricane here, but one is expected about 250 kilometers away, and we'll get the tail end of it. This isn't what we imagined when we booked our holiday. We were hoping for warm and beautiful weather. The weatherman said that the storm will arrive around midday, so we're going to take shelter in the hotel. Hopefully, the following day, the weather will return to normal. We helped some lovely locals get ready for the hurricane, which was a great cultural experience. Every cloud has a silver lining.
Someone said there is going to be a storm. Alguien ha dicho que va a haber una tormenta. The weather in the Caribbean is better than the weather in Ireland. El tiempo en el Caribe es mejor que el tiempo en Irlanda. Do you know anyone who is a weatherman? ¿Conoces a alguien que sea hombre del tiempo? If it rains cats and dogs, I'm staying at home. Si llueve a mares, me quedo en casa. Is it going to be windy tomorrow? ¿Va a hacer viento mañana?
Losing your passport. And now the vocabulary. Passport.
Pasaporte.
Belongings.
Pertenencias.
To bump into.
Chocarse con.
Backpack.
Mochila.
Embassy.
Embajada.
Police station.
Comisaría.
To ruin.
Arruinar.
Helpful.
Servicial.
Trip.
Viaje.
I can't believe I've lost my passport. I'm usually very careful with my belongings. When I was waiting for the train, the guard bumped into me and knocked my backpack onto the floor. I think my passport fell out of my bag, and now I have to go to the police station and then to the embassy. The policewoman that helped me at the station was very helpful, and hopefully I can get a new passport within a few days. The loss of my passport isn't going to ruin my holiday. In fact, I'm thinking about extending my trip.
The weather was terrible last week. It was freezing cold, 3 degrees Celsius, and it rained all week. It's winter at the moment, so it's not unusual, but I hate rain. It's a good thing the weather is going to improve next week. It's going to be sunny and warm all week. Hopefully it will be 15 degrees. Not bad for winter.
Are we going to book a holiday this year? ¿Vamos a hacer una reserva de vacaciones este año? It was 30 degrees yesterday. Hacía 30 grados ayer. Do you travel to France every year? ¿Viajas a Francia todos los años? How did you lose your passport? ¿Cómo perdiste tu pasaporte? Life is full of love and creativity. La vida está llena de amor y creatividad.
First things first, how you machines doing? You good?
Yeah, we're good.
Good. Let's take a picture. Quick question. ¿Cómo se dice emocionar en inglés?
To emotionate.
No! Think of Michael Jackson. Una pista de audio. It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark.
It's thriller.
That's right. So emocionar is to
Thrill.
eso es. And this book is the shit will thrill you. It's thrilling.
Sí, señor. This book is the shit. El inglés que no sabías que sabías. 1000 nuevas palabras para tu colección. De la mano de Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender.
Now we're talking. Yeah, now we're talking. Ahora sí, it is. This book is the shit. Again, it's available at vaughntienda.com. All right, let's see what I got for you guys. We talked a little bit about the unfortunate happenstance. You know this? Happenstance? The unfortunate happenstance of losing your passport. Casualidad. Okay, a chance of, it's a mix of two words, happen and circumstance. Hey, it happens. You know, we misplace things. That's the way it goes. So this could really rain on your parade, to use expressions that have to do with weather, since we were taking a look at the weather today. To rain on your parade, amargarte la fiesta. Think about it. Tienes un desfile planificado y empieza a llover. All right, let's see what I've got for you guys. Some things that I wanted to see if you know from this audio from Listen Up. The first one, capear. Is that it? I always mix this one. Yes, capear. I always say acaparar. I mix it up. Capear el temporal. Translation: to endure, to survive a difficult or tough situation. All right. Hey, you can always use a real one, right? A downturn in the economy, losing your job, you know, any of these things that can be a tough experience. A breakup, una ruptura. I'm just giving you guys some ideas, okay? This way we personalize it and we use it in a way that we would actually use it given our real life circumstances. So the first one, capear el temporal, okay? To withstand. That's another way to say it, to withstand. A ver cómo lo traducen. To withstand. Resistir, aguantar. And remember that, when it's got another word in it, we conjugate it the same way. So stand, stood, stood. Well, he withstood that ordeal. Ordeal is another way of saying a difficult situation. Wow, lots of vocabulary coming out. All right, so that's number one. Number two, la cola, el final. It's funny because we say it in a similar way. La cola o final, the very last part of something. Okay? The very last part. It was said in the audio, and it's one of these that I consider a totally native. Yeah. So that is the very last part of something. Okay? It can be literally, right, of a train, or it can be like, like the end of a situation as well, or a book, right? So again, use your own example and try and use full sentences. And this way we can see if you're using it correctly. Okay, and the third one, there are many ways to express this one. And this is to collide with someone, to crash into somebody. Okay, but we don't say crash into unless you're in a car, really. So to collide with someone, but also it has another meaning, and it's to meet by chance. Okay, you weren't planning to meet up with this person, and wow. So tropezar o toparse con would be the Spanish way to express this. I can think of 3 different ways to say it off the top of my head. Off the top of my head is sin pensarlo mucho. All right, again, these are all awesome vocabulary words and expressions that you can get from Listen Up. It's available at Vaughn Tienda. It's $16.95. That's $17. Let's be honest, $17, and you will get tons of English. You'll practice your listening, and then you'll have exercises, as you heard in the audio, that can help you and make sure you got it. That's exactly what I do here in the pop quiz. Okay, this is what I want to make sure you guys have got. And I've taken some notes of things that I want to go over as well. But also I want to see if you know the 3 things I asked you. Number 1, again, to withstand, to survive an ordeal. Para usar el vocabulario que vimos. The next one, the very last part of something. And the third one, I was going to almost say the word, to find somebody without planning on finding that person or meeting up with that person. All right, amigos, I'll tell you what, we have got to go to a quick commercial break. We are flying through today's show. When we come back, we're going to hear our Say What soundbite. We'll also check your pop quiz answers. We've got our question of the week as well. We've got real reviews, spelling bee, lots of stuff to do in the next hour and a half of today's program. So take notes. Well, look at it. I mean, we've done 26 minutes, 25, and I don't know how many vocabulary words and expressions we looked at already. And unless you've got a great memory, it's good to jot things down. Folks, we'll be right back with much more, so stick around. Welcome back. Welcome back, folks. This is part 2 of today's show with No Name here on Vaughn Radio. Again, thank you for learning and laughing with us here on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget about all the other amazing programs you've got all day long. You can start your day with my buddy Rob Grams and the Pro Bow Show. After that, you can learn English with the master, the guy who trains us all. Yeah, he trained me in my class 20 years ago. Jeez Louise. And he's still doing it. The mark of a true master. Fitz. And you can learn with him every day and his students in his program, No Excuses, a master class. After today's show, you can continue to learn with Ale in Speaking with Confidence, followed by the Lunchtime Show with Rob Grams. You get a little bit of everything, but most of all, you get real English with Rob Grams. None of that English teacher shit. No way. No way. He doesn't know how to do it. It's not his thing. Even if he tries to do it, so it's not in his blood. He's a real communicator, and it comes out. And also, Rob is from the north of England, which tends to be a harder accent to follow than the south of England. I'm generalizing, but in general, Northern England, oh, wow. Woo! Good luck. So you really want to train your ear, learn English with Rob Grams in both of his shows, the Pro Bow Show and the Lunchtime Show. You've also got Speak English with Ruby. Let's get random with Jules Linares. Don't forget about Dave Boys and the Salad. You got Kyle Miller in Drive Time, Chris Frank in Frankly Speaking, Jessica Fernandez and the Hour to Empower, and you've got Richard Vaughn Live. That's right, the one and only Richard Vaughn. Also, don't forget, Richard has got an exclusive podcast right now on iVox. If you use iVox as your preferred podcast platform, say that 5 times fast, preferred podcast platform, well, you can just search for Vaughan or Vaughn, however you want to pronounce it, Vaughn Inglés 4.0. And it is basically an online course in podcast format. So you can learn on the go. You can learn during your commute. You can learn when, you're taking a walk, when you're doing some errands, haciendo recados, or even at the gym. All right, well, my amigos, let's listen to our Say What soundbite. I think it's going to be an easy one, relatively easy. We shall see. Here it is for the second time.
Don't be silly, Arnold. I've never done this before. Look, tomorrow's Pearl's day off. I'll replace the food and that cake. Good night, guys. I'm going to clean up the kitchen.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. That's right, folks. This book is the shit, available at Vaughan Tienda, where you can get tons of other amazing books, such as Listen Up, the one we're looking at in today's pop quiz. All right, a couple things that I wanted to point out before we take a look at your answers. All right, how do we ask about el tiempo? ¿Qué tiempo hace? All right. Go ahead. I've got 2 options here for you. You don't have to put it in the comments. I'd prefer if you say it aloud. How's the weather? Or what's the weather like? But we don't say how's the weather like. So you're either going with one or the other. How's the weather? Y paramos. Or what con like, right? So how's the weather? Or what's the weather like? We don't say the time, because if you're asking about the time, you're asking about la hora. Right? I'm sure many of you know that. Another one, I know they said in there, it's raining cats and dogs. Okay, everybody knows that one. But we normally say it's pouring. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. Yeah. If you'd like to be even more totally native, it's pissing down. It's pissing down. Obviously, there's a bit of vulgarity behind that one. It's pissing down. It's pouring. And I know that they taught you that we say rain, but I've never heard a weatherman, weatherwoman, or más fácil, meteorologist say, today we're expecting a lot of rain. No, we're expecting heavy showers in the New York area. Light showers. We call them showers. Yeah, it's weird. Also, you've got humid. A lot of times we talk about the humidity, the relative humidity. So a lot of times there's the actual temperature, and then there's what it feels like, because the humidity can add another element. But another way to say humidity, or humid, I should say, is muggy. It's muggy out. It's humid. And we are very familiar with this one in New York City. Another one I like too, helpful, muy amable. You know, when you call somebody, your bank or whoever, you're like, mira, tengo que hacer esto, quiero cambiarlo. And they're like, sí, sin problema, pa. I love that one in Spanish. Muy amable, right? And in English, that would be thank you. You were very helpful, right? Amable is also friendly, but it's a little bit different. You know, obviously, this is being nice, being friendly, but you're also, helping people who need help. So very helpful. Similar words, right? But helpful means you gave me the help I needed. You didn't hold back. All right. Also, another false friend we've got there. How do we say hace 20 grados? It's 20 degrees, not grades. It's 20 degrees or it's 20 degrees out. Se puede poner out al final. All right. And another word, my daughter always jokes. She knows how to say it now, but she always says template. She goes, Dad, can you give me some template milk? And I said, template? Templado? Hey, she tries. She tries. And if it works, right? But we don't say template. We say warm, right? It's between cold and hot. Warm. A lot of times we talk about weather that's not too extreme too as mild. Oh, a lot of people move there because of the mild weather or the mild temperatures, okay, which means not extreme. All right, so these are just some words that we use, some expressions when we're talking about the weather. And you're thinking, well, what the hell do I need to talk about the weather for? Because I'm not a meteorologist. Well, have you ever heard of small talk? Like, ¿de qué hablas con el tío en el gimnasio? Bueno, es que ya ha llegado el frío with the woman at the bus stop. You're going to talk about your deepest, darkest secrets, your desires, your fears. Okay, maybe. But I would stick to small talk, talking about things we all have in common, right? And weather is one of them. All right. Let's see who's with us right now in our virtual chat room. We've got Elena checking in, and we're going to hear from Elena a little bit later on in our question of the week. She says, hi, guys. It's Friday. Rise and wine. Or, sorry, shine. I guess it was a Freudian slip. I love it. Now, if you don't read it, it could be rise and whine, lloriquear y quejarte. Right? Si tú no lo ves escrito, rise, I don't want to get up. Well, I rise and whine sometimes, but not wine vino, sino wine W-H-I-N-E, que es lloriquear, quejarte. Right? In fact, when somebody complains a lot, you know what we say? Would you like some cheese with your wine? ¿Te gustaría un poco de queso con tu lloriqueo, con tu vino? So she says, I guess it was a Freudian slip, un lapsus, I think you say. Anyway, happy Friday. We made it to the weekend. Great to have you with us, Elena, and your awesome energy. She says, referring to today's Say What soundbite, a goofy voice expressing being the first time doing something and claiming the next day everything will turn out fine. All right. Yeah. This person saying, I haven't done this before. It's the first time. And everything will be fine, or everything will turn out fine. There's a totally native and a goofy voice. Goofy, silly, right? All right, let's see. Laura, lovely Laura in the house. She says, good morning, lovely and lively. I love what you did there. Lovely and lively. They sound good together. Lovely and lively show with no namers. And she says, cheers, Elena. Let's make a toast to the show and to the beginning of the weekend. I'll drink to that. Here we go. Let's pour a beer. There we go. Actually, it's too early to start drinking, but that's a sound effect. You know that, right? I hope nobody thinks I'm like really drinking. Yeah, there's a rule, guys. You can't drink before 12 noon and yeah, especially not when you're working. That's a bad idea. A recipe for disaster, especially when you got to use your brain and your mouth to work, like me. Oh, God. Everybody, I just want to pronounce. Repeat after me. What? Oh, okay. Okay, good job. You guys sound great today. All right. Great stuff. Great to have you with us, ladies. Let's see. Laura says, referring to our Say What soundbite, I heard an excerpt from an old and funny comedy show in which two of the characters are talking about doing something they have never done before in a kitchen. Don't be dirty-minded, though. I can't help it. It's, as we say, get your mind out of the gutter. La expresión, get your mind out of the gutter, es no seas un mal pensado. I can't help it, personally, if you were talking to me. So, okay, yes, it's from a comedy show. And maybe that name Arnold will tell you a lot. A comedy, a sitcom with a character named Arnold. And it's not Kevin Arnold from The Wonder Years, aquellos maravillosos años. It was before that. All right. I grew up watching this show. I'll tell you that. All right. Let's see. There's Chris Valrol bringing a bit of her magic. She says, wine and dizzy days. Oh, my God, guys. Today we're turning into lushes. A lush, un alcohólico. Oh, my God. Wine and dizzy days. Sorry, I meant good morning. I guess you guys have had a rough week, right? Habéis capeado el temporal. Ahora vamos a mirar las respuestas a eso. And she says, sorry, I meant good morning. Yesterday, I forgot to send a greeting to Nuria, Carmen, and Sofia, with whom we teamed up for the trivia. We always meet really nice people. Yeah, well, that's, one of the benefits. I tell you, you get to go out, have a night out. Okay, it's not your typical night out where you just go and you talk to the three people that you're with, your friends, but you kind of mingle with everybody. You learn a few things, you dance, you have a good time. And before you know it, it's all over. It sounds like the show with no name. So yeah, no doubt about it. One of the pros of attending our trivia night is the people you'll meet there. And not just us, but you guys, all of us, a big family. Speaking of, mark your calendars for December 2nd. The man himself, Richard Vaughn, will be hosting. It's December 2nd, and it's at the same place, the Toast Tap Room. All right, there's Born to Iron Man, revving his engines for our spelling bee. He says, morning, friends. How you doing? Good, now that you're here, buddy. Great to have you with us. Chris Valrol, referring to our Say What soundbite, she says, I heard an American girl who's talking to someone called Arnold. It's something that has to do with food, but I don't really know what's going on. Well, yeah. It has to do with food, absolutely. And something about the kitchen. So, all right, we're on the right track. I'll tell you that. Let's see. Laura is participating in today's pop quiz. Let's see what Laura had to say. Laura says, let's stick together. Vamos a hacer piña. Vamos a unir fuerzas and weather the storm. We will be fine. I love it. To weather the storm and to stick together. That's the best way to weather any storm, isn't it? Right? We say weather como tiempo. Right? Capear el temporal, to weather the storm. The next one, she says he was on the last leg of his tour. Great. Also, the one that was in the audio, the tail end. Y esa sería con at, right? They were at the tail end of the tour. And the last leg would be el último tramo también. I like it. Great. Great example, too, because when we talk about tours, giras, they're on the European leg of their tour. They're on the Latin American leg of their tour. Great. The next one, she says, I ran into or stumbled into an old friend the other day, someone I hadn't seen in a very long time. Great. To run into, to bump into, to stumble into, to come across. Wow. Lots of different ways. To run into, to bump into, to stumble into. Y el come, ya no va con el into, to come across. Because if you say I came into, that's heredar. He came into a lot of money. Ves, cambia y cambia todo ahí. But great, excellent job, Laura. Let's see, Elena says, it's a rough patch. Toma. Un periodo difícil, a rough patch. But I'm sure you'll weather the storm. Absolutely. Great. She says, we're on the final leg of the project. Great. or at the tail end. Ambos son partes del, no, leg, a tail. Hey, it could be a dog or a cat. All right. And the last one, she says, I can assure you, if I bump into this man, he'll hear me out. Si choco o topo con este hombre, me va a escuchar hasta el final. Phrasal verb there. Listen, hear me out. Escucha todo lo que te tengo que decir. Déjame explicarlo todo. Excellent. Born to Iron Man says, I suffered an accident, a bicycle accident. El bicycle va adelante porque describe el accidente. I suffered a bicycle accident in March. I hope that's not true, but if it is, I hope you're doing better. So I had to ride out the storm on the final leg of my recovery, walking and on an indoor roller. Is that like a treadmill? An indoor roller. I didn't know that one. Or maybe it's something specific for bikes, because a treadmill is la cinta de correr. So great, to ride out. That's another way to say it. To weather the storm, to ride out the storm. Wow. Excellent job. And to bump into. Well, bump is chocar, right? The bumper es el parachoques. Bumper cars are coches de choque. See how we can get just more than just one meaning? We get the idea behind it. And then next time we see that word, it's, it makes sense. We're familiar with it. Excellent job. All right. Wait, hang on. Are you kidding me? Elena is taking a stab at today's Say What soundbite. I said it was easy, but I didn't think it was that easy. And looks like she nailed it. Excellent job. Wow. Elena. All right. Oh, Laura's finishing the song. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. He went to bed and bumped his head and couldn't get up in the morning. That's it. Nice one. I'll give you a totally native for that one. Elena says, I hope it's not based on a true story, Born to Iron Man. And if that's the case, I'm really glad you weathered the storm. Born to Iron Man says, thanks. It was, regrettably. I spent 2 months out of combat. It's a part of the job. It's par for the course. Ahí puedes usar es lo que tiene. It's par for the course. And you can also say 2 months MIA. Perdido en combate. MIA. Missing in action. All right. Let's see. I've got a lot of people here. Laura says, AA, you should write down all the funny things Lara says, mixing the two languages so you don't forget them. They get a kick of listening to them when they grow up. Well, I'll tell you what, I do tell her, I'm like, honey, remember when you used to say Muna? I mean, now that's a brilliant word. It's Luna y Moon and Una. She said Muna, and I'm like, I love it. It's really brilliant. So yeah, I don't have a written list, but I do have a mental list going of all those words that she didn't know, and now she knows. And I mostly use it to teach her, like, look, see, you didn't know everything before. You learned. Because sometimes, when kids are 6, they get frustrated when they don't figure things out on the first go. But does anybody? ¿Hay alguien que averigua algo a la primera o que lo domina a la primera? I mean, even somebody with raw talent like Leo Messi, if he hadn't developed that talent, maybe we wouldn't be talking about him. You get what I'm saying? So it takes a lot, right? It takes a lot of patience, a lot of time. Like I said before with the master's program, that's the word. If you want to master something, you don't master it doing it once. You don't master it doing it twice. You don't master it doing it 20 times. Okay, and depending on what it is, sometimes you don't even master it after doing it 200 times. Think of a pilot taking off and landing. Yeah, but then next time you do it, guess what? Well, there's more wind. Oh, now it's a totally different scenario, right? So that's something we work on. And then what I do is I highlight those words to show her and say, see how far you've come, right? How far you've come, cuánto progreso has hecho, cuánto has aprendido. And as you know, I do a little podcast section with my daughter for her school. And what I do is once it's aired on their school platform, I share it on my podcast platform too. Wherever, if you guys subscribe to FYI for your English, by the way, I'm re-releasing episodes from the past. So you'll notice that you'll have some FYI episodes in your inbox, some of them based on studying a certain verb, and some of them based on a certain topic. If you haven't checked them out, wherever you get your Vaughn podcasts, just search for Your English. And even though I'm not producing new episodes, I've got hundreds of episodes that I've been told by many people are very interesting and chock full of content. So I'm re-releasing a lot of these episodes. All you have to do is follow For Your English the same way you follow your favorite Vaughn programs. Amigos, I can't believe it. We have got to go to a quick commercial break. We are halfway through the show. Are you shitting me? Eso es otra forma de decir, are you kidding me? Es vulgar, evidentemente. Are you shitting me? ¿Me estás cagando? Oh, man. All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to take a look at our homophones. We've got our Say What soundbite for the third time. We'll see if anybody can join Elena on the podium. What else have we got? Oh, yeah. Question of the week. And we've got our spelling bee. Man, we've got a lot of stuff to cover. So if I were you, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Get up. Yeah, welcome back. Come on. All right, amigos, we are in the second half of today's show. I can't believe we have flown through part one. We looked at some really useful, very common vocabulary. In the first part, to weather the storm. Many of you knew it. As Born to Iron Man said, to ride out the storm. I love it, dude. The tail end of something. Piensa, la cola. You say the same thing, right? Estamos en la cola. The tail end of the work week. To bump into, to stumble into, to run into, or to come across. All ways of saying finding someone without planning to find that person. All right, amigos, we're going to take a look at our homophones. We've got our Say What soundbite for the third time. And then we're going to hear from, let's see who we've got up first. Chris, Chicago, Chris Valrol, Nuria, and Anix. And in the last part of the show, we'll hear from Mario. Give it up for Mario, the only guy to participate. Mario and Alfonso, you guys are in a class all by yourselves. The bravest guys who listen to the show with no name, because the rest, it's all ladies. Turani, Elena, Marisol, no surprise there. These are the students who consistently, they participate every week. And you can tell. Se nota. I'm telling you. Okay, as I said, maybe they'll make one more mistake this week than last week, but their level of confidence just keeps going up, up, up into the clouds. All right, my amigos, time for homophones on the show with no name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
All right, my amigos, this is homophones. Let's see if you know these words, A, and we'll see if you know how they sound as well. That's B. All right, let's see. The first one is tocar un ostinato. Okay? In music, it's ostinato, una frase que se repite. So in a guitar, it's Enter Sandman. That's an ostinato. If you don't use, I know you use the anglicismo over there también. So it's un ostinato o frase que se repite en la música. Okay. Also, if we add the preposition on, it means improvisar. Okay. And if we add another word to the end, it means gentuza chusma. So again, it's a word you probably know, especially if you're musically inclined, but it's got other meanings. So that's great. We'll look at a deeper meaning, two deeper meanings behind this word. And the second word, this is a word my daughter knows because I know it because yesterday we went to the aquarium. We go pretty often because we have a Bono Parques. This is, it's one of these things that lets you go to a lot of different theme parks and zoos and things like that. And the word is arrecife. Arrecife. So it's coral in the sea, right? Beautiful, by the way. Arrecife. Okay. It's also a very popular brand of flip-flops, right? De chanclas. Muy famosos. I think they're Brazilian, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know, but I know they are the flip-flops. Los más famosos. Okay, so again, I think if you know music and you know flip-flops, two different things there, well, you should know these words. So then my next question would be, do they sound exactly the same or not? Also, let me give you today's Say What soundbite for the third time.
Don't be silly, Arnold. I've never done this before. Look, tomorrow's Pearl's day off. I'll replace the food and that cake. Good night, guys. I'm going to clean up the kitchen.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughan Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughan Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovon.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughan Town. That's right, Vaughan Town. Everything you need to really get immersed in the English language. If you want more information, go to our website, grupovon.com, or you can follow us on social media and you can reach out there and get more information. All right, let's take a look at these homophones. Born to Iron Man, first up, and he says the two words correctly, and he says they sound alike. Elena says, I'd say they're not homophones. Laura says they don't sound alike. And Chris says they're not homophones. So it's Born to Iron Man against the world. Hey, that sounds exciting. All right. So the first word is riff. Riff. He played an amazing riff. All right. Yesterday, we were riffing on politics, improvising to riff on. And Chusma, riffraff, right? Oh, man, look at this crew. There's a lot of riffraff over here. So the word is riff. Riff rhymes with, thinking of another word, stiff, rígido. Riff, stiff. Say the two words with me. Riff, stiff. Okay, and the next word, reef. They were riffing on the reef. They played a riff on the reef. They are not homophones. Great job, Elena, Laura, and Chris Valrol. Also, Laura has figured out our Say What soundbite, so great job, Elena and Laura. All right, it's time to hear from y'all in our question of the week.
Question of the week.
All right, amigos, charge. It is the question of the week. All right, here we go. This is today's question. As I said, well, if you don't really have to do anything now because it's too late if now's when you want to participate, but you can always participate in next week's, which is tell us about your first job. This week, we're going to hear about your least favorite chore. And first up, we've got Cristina, Chicago.
Good morning, Alberto from Chicago, 6:30 a.m. Oh my God, it's so
Early
cold
bird.
right now. So we're getting close, to the winter. For us, like fall is close, to your winter, but it's okay.
Yeah, winters and in Chicago are harsh. They're not mild.
It's okay. I'm getting used to it now. So about the question of the week, the chores. There's two things that I don't like is cleaning, the bathrooms. I'm sorry.
Nobody let me ask right now, does anybody enjoy cleaning bathrooms? I think that should be number one on everyone's list. Let's hear.
I hate it. It's disgusting. It's gross.
Yeah. Poop, pee.
I have to do it, and I do it.
Oh yeah, it has to be done, sure.
But right now, we live in a townhouse, like with 2 or 3 levels.
A townhouse, I think you say adosado?
We changed totally from Spain, and we have more than one bathroom. And I'm sorry, I'm not doing more than my bathroom.
Yeah, you're not going to clean up after those kids, especially the boys who tend to miss, right, when they're peeing.
You deal, with your bathroom. And then the other thing that I don't like is cooking. So my husband is the one, who cooks at home.
Oh, okay. At least you got to cook.
I do the rest of the chores, but I don't like cooking.
I don't like washing dishes.
So I told him, like, hey, we can eat this and these, and I go groceries, but I don't cook. I eat it.
She says, oh, so what you want to say, I go grocery shopping. So you do the grocery shopping and he cooks the meal. That sounds good.
No, but it's true that...
Fair enough.
I don't know. I don't have, the patience to be there, like, boom, 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 and you're cooking, steering. You're like...
Steering, no, stirring.
So those are my two things. Hope you like it. Bye.
That's funny because Cristina, Chicago, you just said my least favorite thing and my favorite thing. So cooking is my favorite household chore. My least favorite is scrubbing and cleaning those bathrooms. Man. All right. Excellent job, Chris. A couple notes that I gave you. Just be careful. Not steering, sino stirring. Steering, me dice que estás guiando el coche. All right. Let's hear from Chris Valrol. She posed the question. Let's hear her answer.
Morning, Joe with the namers. Chris Valrol talking about housework. In general, I don't dislike any task per se, as long as I have plenty of time.
That's another thing. Like if you got to do it in 5 minutes, you're like, come on. But if you've got all morning, well, then you can do it at your own pace. Good point, Chris.
In the end, I'm the one who will enjoy the result. A delicious meal, a tidy and clean room, or whatever. It's fulfilling. But if I'm in a rush, any task becomes a real chore. One of the activities I don't love is dusting and sweeping.
Yeah, dusting and sweeping is not fun, A, because you have to dust and sweep. But also, I'm going to guess what you're going to say, because also you breathe it in. No matter how much you dust, unless you put on a face mask, you're inhaling some of that dust, some of that dirt that's lying around the house.
Because dust makes me sneeze so much.
Exactly.
I prefer mopping and vacuuming.
Vacuuming. La U is you. Vacuuming. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm like, I don't want to sweep because I always end up sneezing or having like a dry throat. I get it, Chris. I read your mind there.
And when it comes to dust, I use a damp cloth.
A damp cloth. Un trapo húmedo.
It's especially annoying when I do spring cleaning. Also, planning menus, shopping, and all that jazz is
Spring cleaning means una limpieza en profundidad. This is when you empty out all the closets.
sometimes a pain in the neck. Thank you.
Pain in the neck. Un coñazo. Las cosas se traducen tal como se deben. Un coñazo. All right. Excellent job. And Chris, I feel you. I mean, I hate dust, but I hate dusting because no matter how you do it, you're always going to end up breathing in some of that crap. All right. Excellent job to the Cristinas, Cristina Chicago and Chris Valrol. Up next, we've got a student who was at the trivia night, and it was wonderful to see her in person again. It's the lovely Nuria.
Hey there, Alberto and Seguino Namers. This is Nuria once again. As for this week's question, what household chores I like the least, I must confess that ironing is the one that takes the cake.
Iron. Yeah, it's a weird word to pronounce. No, irons, I earn. Es como yo gano. Iron money, ironing. It's a good way to remember it. Oh, yeah, ironing is a pain in the ass. Getting out all those wrinkles, and then you flip it and you got more wrinkles because you iron the wrinkles in there yourself. All right, let's continue.
What I try to do to avoid it is by using some alternatives to minimize wrinkles. Some, let's say, tricks such as reducing the spin speed in the washing machine.
Oh, I didn't know that trick. A little hack. Reduce the spin speed. So the spin cycle in the washing machine, if you do it less revolutions per minute, it won't be as wrinkly. Okay, Nudi, I'm taking note.
Or hanging and folding clothes properly.
Yeah, that's another thing. If you hang something right when it comes out of the washer or the dryer, you're okay, usually.
And so on. On a different note, I don't mind making the bed, doing the laundry, doing the dishes, taking out the trash, and all that jazz. In short, what I like is to get my house in order. Take care, amigos. Thank you.
Excellent job. Wow. Impressive. You guys are doing a wonderful job. I should say you girls are doing a wonderful job. You gals, you ladies are doing a fantastic job. And I agree with each and every one of you. Well, except Cristina Chicago on the cooking thing, because that is something that relaxes me. Also, let's put it in context. I usually cook when I'm listening to a podcast or something. So I'm, just taking a minute to focus on what I'm doing and having that Zen moment. Yeah, because I know some people who love cleaning. They're like, I just get in the zone, me meto en el tal, and, it becomes almost like a therapeutic thing. And I guess that's one of those positive addictions, smoking crack, drinking alcohol. Those are not positive. But cleaning your house, okay, it might be weird, but the result is a tidy, clean house. Spotless, as we say. Impecable. A spot or a stain es una mancha. So if something is spotless, it doesn't have any spots or stains. All right, let's hear from another student who always participates. It's Anix.
Hey everyone, this is Anix. Honestly, I hate cleaning the windows. It takes forever and they never look perfect.
Yeah, there are always streaks, as we call them, streaks on the window. Oh, yeah, I hate window cleaning too. Oh, man.
You're cleaning one side. When you think it's done, boom, there's a smudge on the other
A
side.
smudge,
It's
great
so
word.
frustrating.
Smudge.
Okay, guys, bye-bye.
So streaks are what you leave when you clean it, and a smudge is like a fingerprint. Excellent job, Anix. Also, Cristina Chicago, Chris Valrol, and Nuria. We're going to hear from more students in the fourth part of the show, but right now we're going to move on to real reviews.
First of all, what went through my mind is how stupid am I to actually volunteer for this?
Real reviews.
Real reviews found online.
Real reviews.
It was unbelievably painful.
Oh, man. Yeah, these reviews are unbelievably. Maybe I've been drinking. No. Well, today we're going to a brewery, a very famous brewery in New York. A brewery is a place where they brew beer. Usually now they have them as restaurants too, where you can grab a bite to eat and try some locally brewed beer. All right, well, let's see what people had to say about this famous and I think even infamous at this point brewery in New York. The first review said, quite disappointing. Okay, remember we said yesterday, it's not a deception, decepción. A deception is a lie. So it's a disappointment. It's disappointing. Quite es bastante. Quite disappointing on both occasions that I've been there. It lacks, great word, carece. It lacks the unique character of a smaller upstart brewery. So they're saying, yeah, they say it's, a local brewery, but it feels very corporate, and that's not really what you're looking for. A local brewery ran by Mao. Okay, but you were missing that thing, right? So upstart is presuntuoso, presumido, right? So, so it lacks the unique character of smaller upstart breweries. Many better choices are available in a 10-block radius. So this person's saying, if you don't have to go too far to find some nice handcrafted beer, or as we call it, micro brews, right? You say elaboración propia, right? Micro brews, these smaller brands that usually get bought out by the bigger brands as they get popular. And it says they are owned by Kirin Brewery Conglomerate. Ahí está todo. They're owned by a corporation, a big conglomerate. Kirin, the one that makes the Japanese beer, Kirin, right? Kirin. And it says that corporate ownership is noticeable. That sucks. Like, that was the line that made me never want to go there. Yeah, when I read it, I've always been curious and wanted to check it out. But the moment they said, yeah, it feels like you're going to a big corporate thing. And like, well, that's the whole, if you're going to a micro brew, it should be somebody talking about the beer who's, making it themselves, not, you have to say this, and this, and your spiel, en tu charla peorata, I think you say, tu charla para vender. So, that review was enough for me to not want to go there. Let's see. The next one, $20 for a decent quality beer without being exceptional. Decent, run-of-the-mill, decent, decente, que no es excepcional, right? The noise is such that it is impossible to have a conversation even while shouting. Aún así, gritando. The place is very disappointing. There's that word twice in two different reviews. Decepciona. It's not welcoming. No te dan la bienvenida. No es servicial. It's not welcoming. If something is not welcoming, it's not friendly. Its reputation is linked to real snobbery. Snobismo? How do you say that? Its reputation is linked to snobbery. Snobismo. Ahí está. Yeah. Okay. But the facts are very clearly unfavorable. So you might know which brewery it is. I'm not going to mention the name because I don't want to get sued or anything. Even though I didn't write these reviews, I just share them with you guys. All right, it's time to move on to our spelling bee.
Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
All right, here we go, folks. This is your spelling bee. Heads up, un aviso, heads up. There are numbers here. Let's go through round one where I fly. The first one is London space BEER space FLOOD. The next one is HORSE space SHOE space BREWERY. The third one is WOODEN space VAT. The next one is 580,000. The next one is 1,470,000. And the last one is DOMINION space THEATRE. Let me just take a quick breath here. Un suspiro, because wow, that's fast. All right. All right, I'm going to give you about another 10 seconds, because if not, we've got to hit this commercial break. All right, going once, going twice. I know, I flew through it. I always do in the first round. All right, here goes round two. This is one where I expect you guys at your level to be able to get this hands down, sin problema, sin lugar a duda. The first one, LONDON space BEER space FLOOD. The second one is HORSE space SHOE space BREWERY. The third one is WOODEN space VAT. The next one is 580,000. The fifth one is 1,470,000. And the last one is DOMINION space THEATRE. Folks, we are heading to our last commercial break. We'll be right back. We've got a lot of stuff to cover in the fourth and final part of today's show, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. This is the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. A nice round of applause for Born to Iron Man. He got the spelling bee on the second go. Awesome job. Well, these words all had to do with the London beer flood. What? You heard it. The London beer flood. La inundación de Londres de cerveza. Yeah, sounds like a lot of people got drunk. Well, believe it or not, there were fatalities. Yeah, 8 people died because of a beer flood. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is my dream come true. Hallelujah, a beer flood. But it wasn't that way. In fact, the numbers I gave you, well, that's the amount of beer that was all over the place. 580,000 liters. Well, anywhere between 580,000 and 1,470,000. Something like that. Algo entre eso is how many liters of beer came out of the wooden vats. Un barril, a vat. VAT is value-added tax, IVA, but also a vat is contenedor, tanque, tina, cuba. So those were your words there. The first word was the London beer flood. Number 2 was the Horseshoe Brewery. And that's a word that I think makes a lot of sense. Horseshoe. You don't call it, in Spanish, you don't say zapata de caballo, you say herradura. Horseshoe, right? So that was the name of the brewery, the Horseshoe Brewery. Number 3 was wooden vats. So that's where the alcohol, the beer, was being stored. 580,000, 580,000, was the low estimate. The high estimate was 1,470,000 liters of beer. And number 6, the Dominion Theater. And that is what stands on the site now where the Horseshoe Brewery used to be. So yeah, imagine that. The London beer flood. I imagine some people enjoyed it, not the 8 people who lost their lives, but some people, you know, they called their friends, and I mean call, hey, Johnny, not call, because 1814, they weren't calling anyone. Hey, Johnny, the streets are flooded with beer. Let's go down to the pub. Grab your pint glass, mate. That sounds awesome. Again, sadly, 8 people died, but I imagine 800,000 people got drunk. Jeez Louise. All right, that was your spelling bee. Excellent job, Born to Spelling Bee. Let me also give you guys today's double trouble. That's right, I said double trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, my amigos. It is double trouble. That means we have to double up on 2 words today. So we'll have 2 sets of words, and I think it's going to be pretty easy, because I think in Spanish both of them are kind of similar, and you should be able to figure it out. All right. Él es un alma libre, pero no le voy a dar alcohol de alto grado gratis. Libre, gratis. Hello. Okay, there's one of them, right? Okay. So, él es un alma libre, pero no le voy a dar alcohol de alto grado gratis. All right? You've got to use the same set of words twice. Well, one set of words and another set of words. So there are 2 sets of words here. Él es un alma libre, pero no le voy a dar alcohol de alto grado gratis. All right, let me also give you today's Say What soundbite for the 4th and final time.
Don't be silly, Arnold. I've never done this before. Look, tomorrow's Pearl's day off. I'll replace the food and that cake. Good night, guys. I'm going to clean up the kitchen.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
Oh, yeah. The master's program, as you know, you got a special deal going on right now until the end of November 2025. You can get 600 euros off. Talk about a discount. I mean, that is, if you were ever considering or toying with the idea, para usar un totally native, if you were ever toying with the idea of signing up for one of these courses, now's the time. And as I said, there are kind of three things that put us on the map: Vaughan Radio, our master's program, and also Vaughan Town. And they're still going strong. All right, let's see. Elena's participating in our double trouble. She says, he's a free spirit, but I won't give him free spirits. Lo único te falta una S ahí, because we call these kind of drinks spirits. Con S siempre. So, excellent. Just add an S. He's a free spirit, un espíritu, un alma libre, right? But I won't give him free spirits. And alcohol de alto grado, gin, rum, vodka, tequila, right? Those are called spirits. Con ese. Because supposedly, when you drink enough of those, you start to see spirits, right? I don't touch hard liquor. Another way to say spirits is hard liquor. And I have some friends who are like, oh, we're all going to do a shot. You have to. You know what I do? Since they're so annoying with it, some people are like, I'm an alcoholic. You're going to be an alcoholic too. And I'm like, no. So I take the shot and I throw it over my shoulder. I make sure there's no one behind me or I dump it. But you do the whole, and I don't want to take shots. No, thanks. No, thanks. So he's a free spirit, but I won't give him free spirits. Let's see, Laura. He's a free spirit, but I'm not going to give him some free spirits. Con ese también al final. Chris Valrol says he's a free spirit, but I'm not going to give him some free spirits. Excellent. Perfect. Born to Iron Man. He's a free spirit, but I'm not going to give him spirits for free. También nos vale esa estructura. Excellent job, guys. Awesome. All right. Well, we've got a lot of stuff to do, so let's go on over to name. No, not name that movie. Not yet. We've got to listen to our question of the week, students. Oh, my God. I almost jumped the gun. Me adelante. All right. Well, folks, let's give it up for Mario.
Hi, everyone. Mario here.
Hey.
I hope you're doing great. My least favorite household chore is definitely ironing. While I enjoy other chores such as doing the dishes or brooming, I find ironing a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, ironing sucks. Como dijimos ayer, it's for the birds. And brooming, you can say brooming, but it's more common to say sweeping. So the broom is what we use, and the action is sweeping. Let's continue.
In my eyes, it is equally difficult as well as time-consuming. And on top of it, you might get your best shirt burned if you don't do it carefully.
And I love that too. Time-consuming. Great, great adjective.
You can even burn yourself either from the hot steam that emanates from the iron or simply by accidentally touching the iron itself. To tell you the truth, I really need to sit down with this task and iron out our differences, or else I'll be wearing creased clothes my whole life. Catch you on the flip side. Bye.
Catch you on the flip side. Wow. Wow. And to iron out, I love the pun, to iron out our differences. Limar. Poner en orden. Excellent. Mario, what can I say except, where have you been, man? You not only did a wonderful job, but you included humor in there. And I hope you'll participate in future editions of Question of the Week because you knocked it out of the park. Excellent job, Mario. You expressed yourself beautifully, and you even put some humor in there. And humor goes a long way. So excellent job. Thanks for giving us a little view of your personality, a little glimpse of your personality. And that's the hardest thing when speaking another language, to have your personality shine through. And Mario and all of you are doing that just perfectly. All right, let's hear from Turani.
Hi there, show with no namers. This is Turani speaking. I
Hope you're
hope you
feeling
are
better.
doing well.
Mhm.
As for this week's question, the household chore I dislike the most is ironing.
Careful again, iron, no iron. Right? It's hard. Habéis elegido la que es más difícil decir también. So ironing. So not earning, but casi ironing. Ironing. So iron, ironing. Difícil, ¿eh?
Absolutely. I can't stand it. Maybe some of you don't see eye to eye on this matter because as time goes by, I realize that for some people, ironing let them hair down.
Yeah, so that's the thing too. If you iron and you're watching your favorite sitcom, well, is ironing so bad?
What the heck, for me, is hideous. It's a nightmare. Even if I listen to music while I ironing, I find it.
While I'm ironing or while ironing. Vamos a decirlo todos. I hate ironing. I hate ironing. Difícil esta, ¿eh?
Too boring. I feel hard when I'm done. So I'm sorry, it's not my cup of tea, but each to their own. Indeed, it's a good thing that nowadays there are some clothes that don't need ironing, so it's allowed of my mind. Thanks for listening. See you around.
Yeah, wrinkle free. Wrinkle free, we call it. Hey, we looked at that word free in our double trouble. Well, free también libre de, ¿no? Un alma libre, well, libre. No hace falta hacer eso, right? And do those really work? Those fabrics? I don't know. I'm asking. But yeah, I don't remember the last time I ironed. Also, we have a dryer, una secadora, and it's got an alarm on it. So I always make sure when I hear that, I hear it beeping. Well, then I go get it right away, and anything that needs to be hung up gets hung up, and that saves you hours later on. But sure, you got to make sure that you're doing a load when you're home, because if you're not home, well, you know what's going to happen. It's going to sit in there, and it's going to get wrinkled. All right, excellent job, Turani. Let's hear from Elena.
Hello, this is Elena. What household chores I dislike? Well, easy peasy. That's hands down ironing.
Oh, God,
Is there
again.
a more silly way to waste your time than ironing clothes? I can't get around to doing it, not even at weekends. So what I do is I keep putting it off, and then when I see a big heap of clothes
To put off, aplazar, a heap, una pila, great vocabulary.
piling up,
To
I
pile
feel
up,
like it's time to
amontonarse.
do it. So first of all, be generous with your clothes softener. Once your laundry is done, take out the clothes, stretch them nicely, and hang them up.
Hey, you read my mind there. That's exactly, if you could kind of, but the thing is, that's the thing. You got to be on top of it when you're washing and drying clothes in order to avoid ironing later.
The best way possible, so that when they dry, you'll be able to smooth out any creases, and hopefully you won't have to iron most of it. However,
Great pronunciation of iron.
there is clothing you can't avoid ironing, such as, I don't know, shirts.
Yeah, dress shirts. Those, if you're going to go out, to a wedding, or you got to iron a dress shirt, no doubt about it.
Skirts, those beautiful dresses, and so on. But please don't tell me you are like a friend of mine who irons even her panties. Got it?
She irons her
Thank you.
panties, sus bragas.
Save your time, your precious, precious time.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't mention her name. She irons her panties. So how many people are seeing her panties? Jeez Louise. All right. And last, but certainly not least, let's hear from Marisol.
Hi, it's Marisol. I'm back from holiday in Ireland. It was breathtaking.
Awesome. Take me with you next time.
Awesome. But now we have to back to real life.
We have to go back to real life or back to the grind, como decimos, la rutina.
Back on track. So, referring to the question of the week, what I list favorite household chore is ironing.
Ironing. Be careful, guys. You guys picked the same one, but the hardest one to pronounce, it seems. Ironing, right? Yo gano, ironing. All right.
I feel unwilling to do it because there's so much job to do.
So much work to do. Job es tarea específico. So much work es en general.
Place the iron board.
Ironing board.
The iron machine.
The iron. Me encanta que lo llamas the ironing machine. Bueno, seguro, hay máquinas también que lo hacen, but if you're just talking about la plancha, it's called the iron.
Iron everything, and then tidy up all the stuff, and then when you put on the clothes, it doesn't last. Maybe it's gonna be wrinkled very soon. It's not worth it for me. So, greetings to our show with no namers. Bye.
Excellent job, everyone. Excellent job. All right, it's time for Name That Movie. Name That Movie. Yes, amigos, welcome to Name That Movie here on the show with no name. Let's get right into it. Here we go. When Scrat is the character's name, when Scrat's acorn sends an asteroid to Earth, the herd must find a way to stop the asteroid from hitting Earth with the help of a returning friend. So an acorn, that's what squirrels eat. Bellota, okay, acorn. So when Scrat's acorn sends an asteroid to Earth, vamos a pronunciar eso, Earth, the herd, la manada, la multitud, must find a way to stop the asteroid from hitting Earth with the help of a returning friend. I just watched this movie recently with my daughter, and we were cracking up. All right. And I love this series of movies. Let me get right into it, and we'll see if anybody knows it. Crash says, "Where are we? ¿Dónde estamos?" And Brooke says, "Here he is, the master of meditation, the supreme sovereign, the Shangri-Lama." The Shangri-Lama is a play on the Dalai Lama. And the word sovereign is soberano, independiente, right? Sovereign. The Shangri-Lama. So it's a mix of Shangri-La, which is another word for heaven, and Dalai Lama, okay? And the Shangri-Lama spits into a bowl, and Diego says, "This is the guy who's gonna save us?" And Shangri-Lama says, "Yes, but first, downward dog," a yoga position. And they do the downward dog pose. And then Shangri-Lama says, "Caterpillar." Caterpillar, if you know this one, this is not just a yoga position, but it's also an animal. Caterpillar is oruga, is the word. And then he says, "Okay, the funky chicken, the bouncing Betty, the mashed potato," and these are all dances. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the movie is Ice Age. Collision Course. There are many Ice Age movies, but yes, this one is called Ice Age Collision Course. All right, it's time to move on, though, because we are running out of time. So let's get into famous birthday trivia.
Birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with
right, amigos. All right, this first guy was born in 1967. I think with this one sentence, you'll know who he is. The most famous French DJ ever. He's French, and he is probably the most famous DJ to come out of France. And he's got so many songs. Just a little more love, just a little more touch is all it takes. He's also got Where Them Girls At, and Getting Over You, Titanium. You've heard his songs time and time again. When Love Takes Over, yeah, yeah. And he is the most well-known French and possibly global DJ. Number 2, this actor, comedian, screenwriter was born in 1983 today. He was in the series Workaholics. He was also in the films Pitch Perfect and Pitch Perfect 2. He was in The Intern, the Lego Batman movie. He was also in Ice Age Collision Course. That's right. And his last name is Divino. And last but not least, this actress was in the show Different Strokes. She played Kimberly Drummond, and she had the adopted brothers Arnold and Willis. What you talk about, Willis? That was one of the catchphrases that Arnold said. And sadly, she had a very tragic death. She was 34 years old and very, talented. She was, but, she was found dead in her motorhome due to an OD. An OD is short for overdose of prescription drugs. And it was ruled a suicide. But I remember having a crush on her, and it seemed like she had the whole world at her feet. But it just goes to show you, demuestra. You might think somebody's got it all, but in the end, they are suffering. All right, ladies and gentlemen, our 3 famous birthdays: David Guetta, Adam Devine, and Dana Plato. Platon, that's how we say the philosopher. Well, that was her last name, Dana Plato. Very, very tragic. If you want to see her life story, there are videos on YouTube that talk about her sad end, young end of life, the tail end, if you will. All right, and that's going to bring us over to our Say What soundbite. This is Dana Plato playing Kimberly in Different Strokes, que viene de la expresión different strokes for different folks. Para gustos, los colores. And they caught her eating food. I think in these they dealt with serious things such as, eating disorders. And she was caught eating all the food in the kitchen. He says, "Don't be silly, Arnold. I've never done this before. Nunca he comido esto antes. Tomorrow is Pearl's day off." La limpiadora se llamaba Pearl. "Tomorrow is Pearl's day off. I'll replace that food and that cake. Good night, guys. I'm going to clean up the kitchen." Here she is, Dana Plato.
Don't be silly, Arnold. I've never done this before. Look, tomorrow's Pearl's day off. I'll replace the food and that cake. Good night, guys. I'm going to clean up the kitchen.
Folks, thank you so much. We have reached the end of our show, and we're going to say goodbye with an amazing song, which I think has a philosophy. It's a simple song with a simple philosophy. It's David Guetta, "Just a little more love, just a little more peace is all it takes to live a dream.
Just a little more love.
Sing it. Just a little more peace is all it takes to live the dream, to walk hand in hand. We got to understand that one day soon we'll live in harmony. Just a little more love, you know it. Just a little more peace is all it takes to live the dream. Walk hand in hand. We got to understand that one day soon we'll live in harmony. Thanks, folks. Ciao for now.